Revenge films.
My name is Kelly. I'm a graduate school student who loves to study. I've been living with my boyfriend Thomas for over 1 year now. He hops from job to job and lives his life by the day. And he's the complete opposite of me, who loves to study and work very hard. I love to cook and he loves to eat, so I thought we were a good match. But he eats so much that as soon as he lays his eyes on something in the house, he had a habit of eating it all immediately. Little by little, I started to feel uneasy about him. About 1 year after we started living together, he started saying that there wasn't enough food and he no longer complimented my cooking like he used to in the beginning.
What? This is all that's for dinner today?
What do you mean? I made all of this, and it's plenty, isn't it?
It's not enough, so you need to make more.
Even if you say that, I haven't had enough for food expenses lately.
Why not? I've been giving you money every month, haven't I?
You eat so much that it's not enough at all.
But that's your job to figure it out somehow. If you can't satisfy my stomach properly, then you should get a part-time job and earn enough.
Don't be ridiculous, even though I'm also paying the living expenses. I was studying bacteria and fungi in university, and I was busy every day with my studies. Compared to that, Thomas quit his job as soon as we started dating, and all he does is work a part-time job 5 hours a day, and seemed bored every day. Despite that, he insisted that a meal should be served by a woman, and doesn't try to help out at all. And day by day, I was getting even more frustrated with him. Then one day, my parents sent me some really expensive steak. Wow, this looks delicious! I need to call my mom. I picked up the phone to thank my mom for such an amazing delivery. Hello? Mom? Thank you so much for the steak. Did you get it? We ordered a few of them and they were really delicious, so I wanted you to have some too, Kelly. I'm so happy. I'll let you know how it is once I cook it. Just in case, I told Thomas that I wanted to eat the steaks together, so I told him to wait without eating it as I left the house for school. When I got home that night, I was really excited for dinner, and I went straight to the refrigerator. But then, those steaks that should have been in the fridge were missing. What? Where is it? Hey! What happened to the steaks that were in here?
Oh, I got hungry, so I ate them.
What do you mean you ate them? All of them? What about my portion? There was almost 7 pounds of steak!
I ate it all, so there's none left.
Can't believe this, even though my mom sent it for me to eat.
What's the big deal that I ate it?
But I was really excited about it.
Why are you being so selfish about food? It's pathetic.
Cut it out already. You're the one that's selfish. You eat too much.
I have the right to eat anything that's in this house, and that's none of your business!
Out of nowhere, he snapped, and he was like a different person as he stood up and shoved me. When I fell to the ground, I hit my head on the coffee table. I lost consciousness and I was taken to the hospital. When I opened my eyes, I was laying in a hospital bed, and next to me, I could hear the voices of Thomas and the doctor speaking.
She just fell over and hit her head. She was always a little bit clumsy, and, well, when I think about what would have happened if I wasn't there, I get chills.
You did the right thing by calling the ambulance immediately. Even if it was just a concussion, it would have been dangerous if she was just left there.
I'll tell her to be more careful next time.
I couldn't believe it. He was lying to the doctor that I just fell on my own. After that, I started to feel more uncomfortable and less trusting of him, until something happened that would be the final straw. One day, from my research in university, I had to take home a poisonous mushroom. I put the mushrooms on top of the table, and I started preparing for my research when I heard a suspicious ruffling sound from under the kitchen counter. I was terrified as I went to look underneath the cabinets, and there I saw a black shadow. Cockroaches! Ah! At that time, Thomas was at his part-time job and wasn't home, so I had no choice but to take care of the cockroaches by myself. However, I didn't have the courage to hit the cockroaches, so I had the idea to make cockroach-killing boric acid dumplings. I still had some leftover boric acid from the last time we had cockroaches, so I mixed that together with flour and sugar that cockroaches love, and I rolled them up into little dumpling-shaped balls. I'm pretty sure cockroaches also love onions. Alright, I'm gonna go buy some. I wanted to make sure that I got all of the cockroaches, so I decided to go get onions at the nearest supermarket. Just in case, I knew it would be bad if he came home during that time, so I left a note for both the poisonous mushrooms and the boric acid dumplings, that they were dangerous and not to eat them before leaving the house. When I got home, I saw his shoes in the front door, so I was glad that I had left the warning note for him. However, when I got into the living room, a shocking sight was waiting for me. The poisonous mushrooms and boric acid dumplings that were on top of the table were all gone, and he was rolling around on the floor laughing while holding his stomach. "Don't tell me that you ate the mushrooms and balls that were on the table!" With tears in his eyes, he was laughing hysterically as he sprinted towards the toilet. As he kept repeating that, he was laughing so hard that he started to hyperventilate, so I panicked and called an ambulance. According to the doctor, he was high due to consuming those poisonous mushrooms, and because of consuming the boric acid, he was also having issues with his digestive system. As I was explaining the situation to the doctor, both of his parents came running into the hospital room. "Are you the one who made Thomas eat something so dangerous?"
Why are you laughing this much? Hey, are you okay?
"Sir, ma'am, please calm down." Both of his parents were furious at me, so I tried to explain the situation in detail to them. While I was at it, I told him about his actions until now and how I was struggling to make ends meet. "I didn't know. Actually, he has always been a monster when it comes to food ever since he was little. It troubled us a lot too."
When I think about his personality, I'm sure that this incident was all his own doing.
As I was speaking with his parents, the poisonous mushrooms were finally wearing off, and he was back to his normal self. But then, the most outrageous words came out of his mouth.
You murderer!
He ignored the warning note and ate everything that was on top of the table. And after causing so much trouble to everybody, he was now calling me a murderer. Seeing this behavior, I was fully over it. And at that moment, I decided to break up with him. Without paying any mind to that, he kept messaging me while he was in the hospital to bring him home-cooked meals. But I ignored them and just gathered his belongings to get ready to kick him out of the house. His parents both apologized to me, but when they realized that I wasn't going to change my mind, they decided that they would take responsibility for his belongings and take them. And they were cooperative. Thomas spent about 1 week in the hospital, and even though he was suffering due to the problems in his digestive system from the boric acid, apparently he was throwing tantrums at the hospital that he wasn't getting enough food. And then, 1 week later, when he was discharged from the hospital and came back without knowing anything, it was already after I'd gotten rid of all his personal belongings in the house.
What? What's going on here?
"I can't live with you anymore, so please, get out. Your parents have taken all of your belongings, so why don't you go back to their house?"
But why? What are you saying that I ever did to deserve this?
No matter how you think of it, you've been way too selfish about eating around here. On top of that, you're the one that knocked me unconscious. But you were lying at the hospital, weren't you? There's no way I could live with somebody like that.
I'll apologize for pushing you, but when have I ever been selfish with food? I don't have any recollection of this.
He insisted he had no idea what I was talking about, and he refused to leave the house. And after being exhausted of speaking with him, I called his parents. They came straight away to pick him up, and as if he was being arrested, he was dragged back to their house. After that, his parents were furious with him, and they made him promise to transfer the medical expenses from when he pushed me. That was the end of it, and I was able to end any relationship with him completely. I was able to fully focus on my studies, and I was able to work even harder in my research. As a result, I published a book on mushrooms, and I became a famous professor. The book I wrote on what happens when you eat poisonous mushrooms became a bestseller, and I was able to become a celebrity. Living with Thomas was very stressful, but I'm very grateful that it became a stepping stone towards this comfortable future. As for him, his eating habits didn't change even when he moved back home. And without listening to his parents, he would eat everything that he could get his hands on around the house. Because of that, he got food poisoning many times. And eventually, he was even kicked out by his own parents. I heard that he's now living a poor life without even finding a proper job.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.